I'm Deanna Woolman, and welcome back to our health videos. And I hope that this one will be very beneficial to you, whether you are just starting out with essential oils or whether you've been doing essential oils for quite some time. This one is just the very basics of essential oils. What is an essential oil? How are they made, and how do I use them? And what do I look for when choosing one? So I hope that we can answer some of those questions for you and maybe even more. And please bear with me as I try to get used to talking to just a video camera and not an audience. I'm used to the give and take, so please be patient with me. Okay, the first question is, what are essential oils? Well, essential oils are the very things, the oil or the very lifeblood of a plant. When you squeeze or compress parts of the plant, you're going to get a liquid, and it's the oil. And this oil has beneficial properties. Okay, so what part of the plant? Well, it can be any part of the plant. It depends upon which part has the medicinal properties or the properties that we're looking for. So you can be getting the oils from the root, the stem, the flowers, the leaves, the bark, the seeds, or even the peels. So it just depends upon what part has the properties that you're looking for. So for instance, with cinnamon comes from the bark, or you can do cinnamon leaf if you're looking for a different medicinal issue. For leaves, it would be like peppermint leaves, catnip, or things like that. The citrus ones all come from the peels, the lemons, the limes, the grapefruits, those things. So you've got different parts of the plant that give you different things. So it just depends upon which oil you're looking for. Okay, so how are essential oils made? Well, the majority of oils are made through a process called distillation. And so that's the way the majority of them are made, but you'll find that some are also pressed. The ones where you have like your citrus, your nuts, various carrier oils that come from seeds, those ones are going to be pressed. And in those cases, when you're looking for those oils, you want to be sure that you're looking for cold pressed or cold expeller pressed. You don't want any heat in the pressing, because the heat will cause the oil to start becoming rancid already, and then it's no good. So you want a cold pressed. But those are for ones like your citruses, your nuts, and your seeds. The last process is maceration, and that's where certain ones such as onion, garlic, wintergreen, bitter almond, those kinds of plants are soaked in hot oil to begin with, in order to cause the medicinal properties to become available. If you've ever cooked with garlic, if you're very familiar with garlic, you know that the best part of garlic, the best flavor, the best benefits of it don't come out until it's been crushed and then warmed. And so it's the same thing with a couple of different oils. There has to be some heating of the plant, and then the oil is pressed or distilled out. But there has to be a little bit of heating. Very few plants that way, but there are a few. So you have your distillation, which is the majority of your oils, your pressed, and your maceration. So then, okay, so the question is, what benefit do plants have for me? I mean, why am I using a plant oil for anything on me, or to smell, or what was the deal? Well, plants have properties that allow them to thrive. And we're going to look at some of those properties and how they affect humans. One of those, and the most popular property within plants, is called an adaptogen. Adaptogens allow the plant to adapt to stressors, to things that are outside the plant or coming through the soil. So in other words, like drought or famine or poor soil, things that are stressing to the plant, these adaptogens allow it to adapt, to continue to thrive despite the pressures, the stressors. So when you take those oils and you use them on yourself, you're able to better handle stresses in your life. And you know that as a human, we have lots of stressors, both externally and internally. And so a lot of times we need something to help us with anxiety or stress, or help us to better focus, those kinds of things. are benefited by plants that have adaptogens. And so that's why an issue where we would use an oil for the adaptogens. The plants also have properties that allow them to regenerate themselves. Say you take a leaf off of a plant. Well, the plant has the ability to replace that leaf, unless, of course, a deer or a rabbit gets to it and just actually decimates the whole plant. It's able to regenerate parts of itself. Well, that helps us humans because as humans, our cells are constantly being regenerated, especially between the hours of 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. while we're supposed to be sleeping. Our body is programmed to regenerate, to repair itself. And so that's what our body naturally does. Well, these properties from the oils can help us do that even better, especially if we're rather sick and not feeling our best. Then it would take a little longer for the body to regenerate those things, to repair itself. Well, those plant properties can help us in that area. The properties within the plants also ensure propagation. So it ensures that the species will continue. That helps humans in those who are wanting to become pregnant, those who have fertility issues, making sure that we have a viable pregnancy and a healthy baby. And so those kinds of plants and properties help both men and women in ensuring propagation. The plants also have properties that allow them to eliminate competitors and protect themselves from predators. So there are some plants where you will find a field of these plants, but within a huge radius around these plants, there are no competitors. There's nothing that competes with that plant for its soil or its water or its sunlight or anything else that that plant is getting that it needs. It has somehow eliminated its competitors, either through its smell or through something that it seeps into the soil or a color. Something within that plant has allowed it to eliminate its competitors and protect it from predators. We know that some plants taste bad, or that they'll make an animal sick when they eat it. That protects it from predators. Those oils can do the same thing for us, possibly. We know that science has verified that we like or dislike people a lot based on how they smell. Not that we consciously acknowledge their smell with most people, but it's there. Somehow we pick it up and we either like the way they smell and we like that person, or we don't like the way they smell and we don't like that person. So possibly we could use the essential oils. If we don't like a certain person, we could, wear an oil we know that would make them not want to be around us. Who knows? Not that I would suggest it, but that's a possibility. But the most important thing that the plants have is the ability to protect themselves from microorganisms that will threaten the plant, that will threaten to kill it off, to bring disease or harm. So you have properties that are antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal, all these things that will protect the plant from microorganisms. Well, those very same properties will help us. Or if you have a flu, or you have a bacterial infection, or if you have fungus, there are things that we can use those plants to recover from. So those are the things that the plants have. Those are the properties they have, and those are the properties that we're using when we use their oil. And that's how they benefit humans. So if you're ever wondering why would I use an essential oil or a plant oil, that's the reason why. Okay. When you are using oils, there are 3 different grades or classes of oil that you need to be aware of. There's grade C. Grade C is like the bottom of the barrel, the leftovers of the harvest. Nothing has been done to ensure purity. These oils are used specifically and only in perfumes. Now, perfumes have so many other chemicals with them anyway, it doesn't matter that the oil is not pure because it's just going to be contaminated with those chemicals anyway. So, but the Class C is only used for perfumes. Class B is used in perfumes, lotions, bath soaks, cosmetics, detergents, things like that, things that can be put on the body, but you don't necessarily want to put in the body. And just remember that what you put on the body is absorbed into the body, but you don't want to put class B internally. You don't want to take it internally. So then you have class A. Now, some people in the industry call it also therapeutic grade or pharmaceutical grade. There's no real definite certification. The only thing that you can be sure of is if you look and find 100% pure essential oil. That's what you're looking for. That is grade A. Now, some companies will say that these are grade A, and then you'll know what that is. That is the highest, purest oil. You're not going to have anything else in there. So you're going to have the medicinal properties, and there's not going to be an adulterated oil that's not going to give you what you're looking for or give you chemicals that you don't want. Okay, so when I'm looking for these oils, first, how do I use these oils? How do I use them? Okay, most people use oils for aromatherapy. See, if you've been in any store in the last 5 years, you've seen things called diffusers. And you've got electric diffusers, candle diffusers, solar diffusers I've seen. Anyway, it somehow diffuses the oil, the scent into the air, and so you inhale, you're enjoying the aroma. It's aromatherapy. Now, we know that just smelling certain things can be beneficial. We know that just smelling rosemary can stimulate the brain even more so than caffeine. We know that just smelling thyme can stimulate the metabolism. Sometimes just smelling certain smells can bring about a relaxation, a feeling of peace and calm. So smelling the things, aromatherapy is a real therapy, but it's taken in through the nose, through the nasal passages. And I have seen car diffusers, room diffusers, jewelry diffusers, then their terracotta warmers, all kinds of ways of putting it into the air. You can even use a candle. If you have an unscented candle and you light it and let it burn for a few minutes so that the wax becomes warm, then blow out the flame and just add a drop of the oil you're wanting to smell, and then relight your candle, and then you'll get the smell as it melts the rest of that wax. But you want to be careful that you blow out the flame before you add the oil. Okay, essential oils can also be used in cooking. So the most popular probably would be like your thyme, oregano, cinnamon, vanilla, but you also have your citrus ones. Clove is a popular one. I love the cinnamon. I'll put cinnamon in almost anything, the coffee, in oatmeal. You can use it in place of the actual spice, the powdered spice, or the plant itself. You'll just use a whole lot less because it's a concentrated. But again, you have to make sure that it's 100% pure essential oil so that you're not putting anything into your food that you shouldn't be eating. You also find essential oils in your baths. You can put them in your bath water. You can put them with baking soda or Epsom salt, or you can just put the oil in the water itself. Because you're sitting in warm water, the warmth will open up the pores, and the pores will absorb the properties of that oil. It also just gives you aromatherapy that just adds to the medicinal properties. Cosmetics and skincares are another way of using your essential oils. If you make your own skincare, it's awesome. It's wonderful. There are so many wonderful plants and oils out there that are good for your skin. You don't want to age, use geranium. You have acne or eczema, use lavender or lime. Just wonderful things that you can use in your own skincare, and you're not having to use chemicals and other things that are available in stores. Your own lotions, creams, shampoos, detergent. I make my own detergent. It's wonderful. I don't have to worry about if I'm going to itch or break out or what other things are in there. It's just soap and my essential oils, and it's wonderful. Household cleaning products as well. You can substitute your your Windex with a vinegar and lemon oil, or you can get rid of your Ajax and substitute with baking soda and lemongrass. And so you can get rid of the harmful things and still clean very thoroughly with your essential oils. They do wonderful. And the last way that you would use your essential oils is to be put onto your skin or to be taken internally, like in a capsule. Now, rubbing on your skin, if you're taking care of a certain issue, you basically want to deal with the spot that has the issue. So if I'm dealing with heart palpitations, then I want to rub the oil directly over my heart. However, if I'm trying to cleanse my liver, since I really can't I can try to get over my liver, but I can't get exactly over my liver because it's inside and there are other things around it and on it, I can also put it on my feet, the bottoms of my feet. And the bottoms of the feet are wonderful because first off, they have very large pores. The largest pores of the whole body are on the bottoms of the feet. So anything that you put on there are definitely going to be absorbed and absorbed quickly. Second, if you've ever looked at a reflexology chart, you'll see that the hands and the feet have points to every major organ in the body. So for instance, if I have a headache, I might put a little bit of peppermint oil up here, and let's say it's in my sinuses, so I want to put the peppermint oil also on the bottom of my toes. That's where the sinuses are connected, and that's going to help my sinuses. If I am having uterine cramps and I want to get rid of those, but I don't want to take ibuprofen, I can put peppermint oil or chamomile oil or something else directly over my abdomen, or I can put it on around the ankle, the inner ankle of the foot. So there are points on the feet that are connected to every part of the body. So they make a great place to put your essential oils if you're going to put it in your skin. The thing with putting it in your skin, however, is that you really need a carrier oil. So I'm not going to go into carrier oils because that's a whole video in and of itself. But a carrier oil is another oil, such as like olive oil or coconut oil, that you mix with your essential oil. And that's for two reasons. You want to dilute your oil just a little bit, especially if it's an oil like cinnamon or oregano or clove, something like that that's going to burn your skin. I don't care how tough your skin is. I promise you, cinnamon is going to burn your skin. So is myrrh. And trust me, I've been there. And so you wanted to dilute like 1 drop of your essential oil with a couple drops of coconut oil or whatever, and then place it wherever you're going to. But the second benefit of a carrier oil is that it allows you to place your essential oil over a greater area of skin. So if I'm wanting to put lavender over my entire arm because I got a little bit of a sunburn, I'm going to get more of it across my arm if I dilute the lavender with a carrier oil than if I just put the lavender on there, because it's going to take a whole lot more lavender. So that's your carrier oils. Those are very important, and like I said, that's a whole other video. I'll do a video completely just on carrier oils, and because there's so many, I'll probably break it down into a couple. But just to know that the most popular ones are olive oil, coconut oil, jojoba oil, and probably grapeseed oil. But again, when you look at those, you want to make sure that those oils are cold pressed. You do not want anything else, because then you're getting a rancid oil, you're getting an oil that has contaminants or comes from unknown origins and you don't know what's in them. So again, you want to make sure that it's cold pressed. So that's all I'm going to say about carrier oils. But I do want to talk to you about how to look for essential quality oils, or quality essential oils, sorry. If you're going to use oils, you want to make sure you're getting what you're paying for. Now, the ones in the stores are going to be great for aromatherapy. They're going to be great for making your own soaps. They're going to be great for making a gift or a lip balm, okay? Those things are going to be great for those off the shelf. However, if you're wanting to do something medicinal, if you're running something that has more medicinal properties, it's more potent, or something that you're wanting to put within, as if you're going to take it in a capsule, you want to make sure, of course, that you're getting 100% pure essential oil, and you're going to have to do some research online. Now, I can give you a list of a few companies that I know sell those kind of oils. Just know that some companies don't grow and make their own oils. They buy oils from another company and rebottle them into their own. But as long as it's 100% pure oil, it's not a problem. Who cares? As long as they can tell you where it came from and guarantee that it's 100% pure, then it doesn't matter to me that they bought it from company A and bottled it in their own company bottle. The other thing is that there are companies out there that are multi-level marketing. And that would be like your Young Living and your doTERRA. Now, if you want to do multi-level marketing, that's great. I've done it myself. I vowed never again to do it again, but that's good for some people. Some people enjoy multi-level marketing companies. Just know that the issue with that is that they have a product that other companies might have, but they have to increase the price several hundred times in order to provide the benefits and perks that they provide to their consultants. So an oil that may cost company A $13 to market, to sell you, another company is going to have to mark it up at least 2, 3, 4 times more than that in order to pay the person who's selling it, and the person above them, and the person above them, and the person above them. And that's fine. I'm not saying they're bad in any way. I just want you to be aware. Just because somebody's charging more for their oil doesn't mean that it's a better oil. Look into it, because if it's a multi-level marketing company, that's why it's marked up. It's not because it's a better oil, and no matter what they tell you. Okay, so beyond that, you're looking online at some companies, and so you want to ask yourself some things. Where are the plants grown? Plants grown in their own indigenous regions will be healthier. So for instance, if I'm looking for a pine oil, I don't want to know that the pine tree was harvested, or the pine oil was harvested from pine trees in a swamp. No, pine trees belong in the mountains. Pine trees are healthy in the mountains. Pine trees don't belong in a swamp. So if this company has pine trees in a swamp, I would not get their oil. I know that's an extreme, but it's just to show you what I mean. So you want plants that are in their indigenous region, because they will be healthy. They'll have what you're looking for. We want to look out for unknown country of origin. You don't want any oil that has that or is mixed. Like for instance, when you buy olive oil, you want to get olive oil that's all from one region. You don't want to find a bottle that says from Spain and Italy, because it takes a whole lot of processing to make sure that the oil from Spain and the oil from Italy make it to the meeting place where they're put together and bottled, because if it's not processed, it's not going to make it. So they process it before it's even there, and so it's already bad. It doesn't have the medicinal properties. It's probably rancid. So you want to make sure that your olive oil is going to be 100% pure from one country of origin. Same with your essential oils. You don't want mixed. You don't want lavender from England and Bulgaria. No, you don't want. You want one or the other. Okay, is it the correct species of plant that you're looking for? Sometimes, like the mints each mint, there's catnip, there's peppermint, spearmint, wintergreen. All of those have they have some of the same properties, but they have little different properties. So if you're looking for something that can be taken care of with peppermint, make sure you're getting peppermint and not wintergreen or spearmint or catnip or whatever. It's the same family, but you're not getting the exact same thing. You want to make sure you're getting the right family or the right plant. Also watch out for cheaper substitutions. You don't want to get one that's already mixed with another oil like jojoba, or maybe you do if you're just wanting to make your own soaps or whatever. But if you're wanting medicinal properties, you don't want it already mixed with something. You want to make sure that the company labels the botanical name on their brochure or catalog or whatever, and preferably on the bottle. You can see that the lavender is there, but it's also the botanical name underneath it, and that lets me know which plant and which species I'm getting. Now, if you can't find that, sometimes the bottles are too small. I get that, totally get that. But if you cannot find it online, if it's not there online on their catalog, then I would avoid it completely. Okay, when is it harvested? The time of year that a plant is harvested influences the potency of the valuable constituents in its leaves, stems, and flowers, and roots, and the rest of it. So if you're getting an oil that is made from roots, you want to know that it was harvested in the fall, because that's when the nutrition and the medicinal properties are in the roots. If you get a root oil that was harvested in the spring, well, then you're not getting what you were looking for because it's not there. Everything goes back to the roots in the fall. If you're getting an oil that's made out of the flowers, such as the lavender, you want it harvested either in the spring or early summer. So that's when the best parts of the nutrition, the medicinal properties, that's when that's in the flower. So you want to know what time of year the plant is harvested. And if they can't tell you that, then you need to go to another company as well. How is it extracted? You want essential oils that are cold pressed or steam distilled, or like I said, there are a few who are maceration. But you want the cold pressed. You don't want heat pressed. You don't want any kind of heat in it at all, because then it starts causing it to go rancid before you even get it. Has it been diluted or mixed with anything else? Like I said, in most stores, you're going to find an oil that may already be mixed with a little bit of jojoba oil or a little bit of olive oil. And that's okay if that's what you're looking for. You don't want to dilute your own, but just for my own personal preference, I prefer to do my own dilution and know exactly what I'm spending my money on. I don't want to spend money on something that's very little frankincense and a whole lot of jojoba. I can do that myself. And the last thing you want to know for sure is, does the company test their product for purity, identity, quality, and safety? So in other words, they're 100% sure that it's a lavender and not something else. Or it's 100% sure that it's a peppermint and not a catnip. Is it pure? Is it 100% pure? Is the quality high? Was it harvested when it was supposed to be? Is it safe? Can I ingest it safely? You also want to look for things like, do they do a test called gas chromatography or infrared spectroscopy? Okay, I know those are big words. I'll put them on the bottom of the video here somewhere. But those are things you want to look for. You want to know that this company is forthcoming with how their